Good morning, my friends. I'm in my living room, dining room actually, and I just wanted to show you this beautiful, beautiful Amaryllis. These are four of the five original bulbs that I planted and bought um, over 15 years ago. So this is their 16th show. I'd say that's pretty good for only paying 90 cents for each one of them. And they have just been so stunning every year. This is called an apple blossom. And I normally will plant them both in pots and in the ground. I have a fifth one, and it comes out red. I don't know if it was actually marked red on the box or if I just bought it by mistake. I knew nothing 15 years ago about amaryllis, so it was, other than I thought they were pretty. Anyway, I wanted to get up close and show you how they have come out and how they've performed. Amaryllis, I personally don't think are a very hard bulb to grow. Obviously, I've done pretty doggone well with it. But I wanted to show you the beauty of each one of these. Uh, they give such a great trumpet, don't they? Now, when we had a flower shop and we had for Easter, we had all of our Easter lilies would come in and different things. We were always taught to take the stamens off. One, because they would stain. The last thing you want is a flower customer, somebody who's paid 30, 40, $50 for a potted Easter lily, take it to grandma's house, and grandma gets it all over her Sunday outfit. So anyway, I don't take them off here because I'm not grandma and I don't have to worry about it getting on my clothes. But the way these come up is, now here's one that, let me just show you, demonstrate, is that here's the bulb. I keep them year after year, and I will take back some of this old outer leaves, and it will first of all send up leaves, and then it sends up a stalk. Most of these I'll get a second bloom off, but it'll send up this first stalk, and it will look more like this. And you can see how they're all contained in there. Now this second one I might not get five or six off of. What do we have here? Let's count back here. We've got one little one, two, three, four, five. Five will be tops. And on this one, we got four blooms. But boy, aren't they pretty? What a color. Apple blossom. That's just great. The one over here also, and it's actually has stayed quite well. I brought these in the house yesterday so that they wouldn't get hit with our heat. It went up into the 80s yesterday, but there's one with five blossoms on it, and it has a sixth one right over here. Isn't that beautiful? So now as these start to fade, normally if I'm outside, as one starts to fade, then I'll just snap it off and enjoy the rest. But here's one that is, this might not be one of the originals. This might be one of the adult ladies, but not one of the originals. That bulb doesn't look quite as big. And in the beginning, I always do them separately. People say, oh, they like to be pot bound. I think they like to be the star of the show. And so each one I put in its own pot and give it its own presence, and they seem to do just fine. I give them a good potting soil. I will do usually a time release fertilizer, and go ahead and that's it. That's all I'll do. And then once they bloom. Now, this has been, it's been about 3 weeks. I was trying to think back to the fact that I wanted to get something and show you something else here. Um, our friend John came to visit. Let me just put that little trivet right there. Our friend John came to visit a couple weeks ago, and he was visiting. I did tell you this. He was visiting his sister next door. And let me see if I can lift that. Oops. I'm showing you my mess here. But I wanted to show you what I do with the babies. Anyway, I wanted to have them in time for John, and sure enough, I'd had quite a few, and he got to see the show. But he was, he's staying next door with his sister. Of course, he's not staying with us, but he comes to visit us, and he made the mention that his mom died a few years ago, their mom, and he said, oh, and she was English lady, and she took great pride in her yard, and one of her favorite flowers was the amaryllis. So I made sure that I had those over on our porch facing him, so that whenever he would come out in the mornings, he would see those amaryllis. He would get this show. So anyway, as they die back, as the blooms die back, then I will go ahead and just pop them off. And then whenever it's finished, I will go ahead and cut this right here, right at the base of the stalk. But I'll leave the greens, because the greens are going to sit out and they're going to get the sun and get photosynthesis, and they're going to add richness. They're going to add photosynthesis. They're going to add the sugars and all the vitamins and nutrients and what have you that this bulb will need for next year. And so it has, I don't have one bare, but you've seen the bulbs and you see all the roots on the bottom. Well, on the bottom, right around that bottom edge, you'll see where they start sending out the little pups, their little babies. And what I usually do, now this is I want to say it was the year before. I don't think I did last year. Maybe I did. No, I think I did the year before. And I always call these either the teenagers. They actually start out as the kindergartners, and then they're the teenagers. But you can see all the bulbs, and I think there's 9 in here, and some of them were really, like tiny. And what you're doing is you're getting these two. As a matter of fact, I was going to say they are all they are all ones I planted. But you can see that these have been growing all season long, and look at these beautiful leaves that they produced. They're too small to produce a bloom yet. So what I will probably do, I will go ahead and at the end of this season, because I think it's growing some great leaves, at the end of this season, then I will go ahead and cut these back. I take them out of the soil, cut them back, let them dry. They should be big enough that they will dry out maybe over our fall and winter. If I wanted to have them for Christmas, well, I couldn't do that here in Florida, not with our temperatures. But if I had a way of chilling them, maybe in a fridge or whatever, then I could chill them for, I think they're a 6 or 8 week period. I'm afraid I would have to look that up, but I believe most bulbs are in that. They have to be chilled to like 40, in the 40s. And we don't get that until January. And so that's when our magic happens, is that we chill in January, and then in February we'll have another chill time, and then come the first part of March is when we see these stalks coming up. And now this one just started about 3-4 days ago, and you can see, it just came up here with like day 1, day 2, day 3, and then here we are day 4, and it's already got its a bloom stalk attached to it. So that was all I wanted to show you. Amaryllis have gotten to be one of my favorite flowers. I probably have maybe, I don't know, close to 100 throughout the yard, and I still have a box of ones that I wanted to get started, little small pups that I will go through. I maybe have a few dozen this size. I have a cluster that I'm starting out in the backyard. If you'd like to go back and see where they started, I have my first bloom. I think it was 2 weeks ago I made a video, and then a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, I made another one where I was showing you the cluster of what I had. So anyway, excuse me, I will let you go there, and I will say I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Take care. Bye bye.